Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, BeeSparrow, Buzz Sweet Radio, coming from you straight out Oxon Hill, Maryland. Today, I got my homeboy with me on the platform. Y'all may know him as Garry'Goldwater'Jones, but in Kinston, North Carolina, and in some places in DC, we know him as Goldwater. Let me see if I can add my boy to this stream, my homeboy to the stream right here. Welcome to Buzz Sweet Radio, Garry'Goldwater'Jones. Let me see here. There we go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, brother?
I hear you very well.
I can't hear you. Okay, there you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
So how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right in this pandemic. I'm just resting, reading a lot, and catching up.
I know that's right.
The current events.
I know that's right. So I did my homework. You are a former U.S. Department of Justice employee, born and raised in my hometown of Kinston, North Carolina. You received your formal education from Kinston High, graduating class of 1982. Shouts out to 1982. You went on to attend North Carolina Central University and got your BA in criminal justice. And that's where your career started as a correction officer, right?
Yes. My first job was at DC Department of Correction when I started working at Lorton 1987.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked there for about 2 years. Then I migrated back to North Carolina. Started working with Triangle Correction Institution in Raleigh as a correctional officer. And then I wanted to do something more than a correction officer. So I got a job as a case manager at Wake Correctional Institution. That was across town from Triangle Institution. Then I transferred to Goldsboro Correction Institution, and I worked for about 2 years. And then 1990, matter of fact, 1990, I want to say 1990, I started working with the Federal Bureau of Prisons at the Federal Prison Camp in Goldsboro, North Carolina, at the Air Force, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base.
Right.
Then I working there. I started back as a correction officer. Within 18 months, I was already a lieutenant. I wasn't really trying to go that way. I received a call from a former warden that used to be the warden at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, and asked me he needed my help, down in Tallahassee at the Federal Correctional Institution, Tallahassee. And he basically said, I need your communication skills. The officer needed here, and could you come as a senior lieutenant? I was kind of hesitant because I didn't want to move my children to another state. My oldest son, he was getting ready to go to high school, and I wanted to, leave their friends. Yeah, so in July 1995, I went on up there and started working at as a senior lieutenant at the Federal Correctional Institution, also / the Federal Detention Center in Tallahassee, Florida. A lot of people, when I say that, is we had two institutions. One was the detention center; they were right beside each other. One was the correctional institution. Excuse me. But I worked there from there to 2003. And then I retired. So many things happened. My life basically changed. My wife mad because I dropped the juice. She is. I can look at her body language and tell she is. I spilled all of it. Anyway, I'm getting ready to spill the beans with you.
I know that's right. Let's do it.
I'm gonna tell you something. I got to Tallahassee, in July 1995. 3 months later, October 1995, I was fighting my first ride at the Federal Correctional Institution in Marianna, Florida. And the reason we had started fighting in the ride, let me just give you just a small background.
Okay.
A little small background. In May of 1995, President Clinton and the congressman stated that verbally that they could change the laws, the mandatory minimum sentencing laws for crack and powder cocaine, because the United States Sentencing Commission did a 3-year study and discovered that 95% overwhelming evidence it affected the Black community. Right. So they were gonna make it fair, At the current time, the ratio was 500 to 1. And what I mean by that is, in order to enact a 5-year federal sentence, you have to have 5 grams of powder crack cocaine, which was only $500 at the time. To be able to get that same sentence in cocaine, you have to have at least 500 grams, not 5, but 500 grams, which during that time equated to $50,000 for white. I say for powder cocaine, which white people done the most, and what they said white people done the most, and blacks, their preference was crack cocaine. Right. They were trying to make it equal. They had already said, okay, the laws are wrong. It's affecting the minorities. We're going to change it. Right. I remember that. So I'm gonna give you this scenario, and I'm gonna tell you the truth because this is the way I feel, and I take this to my grave. October the 3rd, O.J. Simpson was found not guilty, and the blacks and whites were kind of like separated.
Right.
There was a lot of tension. I think October the 12th, they did the Million Man March with Farrakhan in Washington, D.C.
Right.
October the 18th, I think don't get me wrong, between October 18th and October 23rd, they decided that, no, we could keep the law like it is.
So they never changed it.
You had so many inmates who were looking forward to getting out because, see, what it was, they were going to make the law retroactive. So that means making it retroactive, they could go back, and a lot of inmates that done a lot of time, they were going to automatically get out. And they was like, okay, first and foremost, they was happy because someone believed that the laws were wrong, biased. And they was excited because, you got somebody in there already done 25 years, and it's sort of like, hey, they gonna go retroactive and make it right, and we all automatically get out. And so everyone was excited. But when Congress at the last minute changed their minds, that's when that's when the institution went up in smoke. It started in Memphis. I think that was the first riot started in Memphis. Then I think they went out to Alabama, then the federal court institution in California. Then you had a federal court institution in Mariana, Florida. So Tallahassee hadn't started rioting yet. And I didn't tell you this, I was a response, special response team lieutenant, special operations team lieutenant. So after I went in there, we fought in the riot. I came home, trying to figure out what the hell was I fighting for, and I understood, that the laws were wrong. And so that's how I became the advocate. I started researching the laws, and I said, the only way the laws are going to change, you have to go to the people who make the laws. Right. Congress make the laws. Right. So Congress is the only one that can change the laws. And so a lot of inmates don't understand that. You have to go with the legislation to get things done. And a lot of people don't understand that. They complain, they do a lot of things, but you have to reach out to your congressman, a congress lady, a senator. And, mind you that the feds don't have parole. So therefore, if you get this time, you basically do everything. Now the state, at the time, the state had parole. So let me give you a prime example. Let me give you a prime example. Go ahead. If I was, I'm black, okay, we just gonna say you white, even though you're not white. You and I get caught, for the same thing. All right, and they arrest both of us. You black, the feds will come in and say, I want that case right there. All right. So they take you, no, you white, I'm black. They said, no, I want his case. Okay. I want to try him in feds. Because they know they got a 98% conviction rate. You know what I'm saying? So you white, so the state gonna keep your case. I'll probably get 15 years. You go walk out with probable probation. There's a lot of cases like that. I'm not trying to make it black and white, but it is black and white.
Well, let me ask you this. One time I talked to you prior to your book signing, we talked a little bit about the Central Park 5. And what I didn't realize was that, okay, so for those of you who don't know, the Central Park 5, Ava DuVernay did a movie about the Central Park 5 called When They See Us on Netflix. And it was about the 5 black men who was wrongly incarcerated. And I think at that time you told me, I could be wrong, that you do advocate work for people who have been wrongly incarcerated. Yes. How? And I realized that it must happen a lot because I also looked at the documentary of Malcolm X about the two men that were accused of killing Malcolm X. When they were coming out, after they found out that they were innocent, when they were coming out, the Central Park Five were going in. So it seems to be a revolving door. How often does this happen?
I'm gonna tell you, it happens a lot. I'm gonna tell you, they call it the recidivism rate. And I'm gonna tell you why. Some people on the streets will say, they went in, okay, they came out, and then that's why we don't want to let them out, because soon they get out, they come back in. But people don't tell you why they come back in.
Right.
All right. Okay. When you come out, you got your parole officer on your case about getting a job.
Right.
Okay. You have to have somewhere to stay. All right. You stand with your family member. They're on your case about getting a job. You are trying to get the job. But
right.
People fail to realize on their application, it states, have you ever been convicted of a crime? And so a whole lot of time when you fill out that application, most of the time they throw it in the trash can.
Right.
And so you out there hustling, now your family, man, they were like, if you get a job, you got to get up out of here.
Right.
So now you don't have a place to stay. You don't have a probation officer on you about getting a job. And people just like, the hell with it. I'm gonna do what I have to do to survive.
Right.
And they wind up getting back in trouble and going back in. Not like they want to go back in there, but if my family not gonna give me the opportunity, the people that employ people not gonna give me the opportunity, and then your parole officer putting that pressure on you to get that job,
right?
Then you stuck. So that's why you have the recidivism rate. Because see, I'm glad you asked that question. I asked the inmate, and of course I worked at 6 different prisons, state and feds. I asked the inmate when I came back in, I said, what the hell are you doing back in here? Lieutenant Jones, man, I couldn't get no job, man. People didn't understand. I couldn't get no job. I was trying to get a job, but they won't hire me. And then if you don't have a family member that's helping you out, or can say, hey, could you hire my nephew? He's been in trouble.
Right.
But I think he'll be a good worker. If you don't have that, going for you, then you're stuck. And at that time, it's like.
So
go ahead.
What is Advocate for Justice?
I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm gonna try to okay, Advocate for Justice. Okay, I created the Advocate for Justice when I retired from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I needed something to do, and the only thing I knew was criminal justice.
Right.
I had a lot of friends that was, when growing up, in Carver Court, growing up, I had a lot of friends that they got in trouble and stuff like that. No big deal. After that ride, I had wanted to do something. So when I retired, basically I was forced out because, I was preaching no laws. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They didn't want to hear that.
Yeah, they didn't want to hear that. They called me a rebel. I'm going against the grain. I'm an inmate lover. And so let's get back. Let's get back to Advocate for Justice. I created Advocate for Justice to tell you the truth. At the time, they and at the present time also, they didn't have parole in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. So it was almost sort of like they could give you all this time, and you could do all this time. And from my experience, the inmates get kind of antsy and stuff like this, and they lose confidence because it's sort of like, I got to 25 and 30 years.
Right.
Without parole. You know what I'm saying? I don't have anything to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? So they get frustrated and start trying. I understood that. So I basically said, well, okay, I got with Congressman Danny Davis out of Chicago. He introduced the bill to bring the parole back in the federal system.
Mm-hmm.
This will give them hope
mm-hmm.
of getting out. This will give them hope of wanting to go do, go work. Come out, give them hope, have something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. So
I started going on Capitol Hill, and I started lobbying, for the bill. I think the bill was like HR 3072 at the time. It was like bring the parole back, and not only just bring the parole back to the federal system, we're gonna make it retroactive. That means you definitely will get out. So that's the real reason I started Advocating for Justice. But what I do now is so like the scales of justice is upside down.
Right.
And what
especially for Black people.
Right. So our goal is to work towards getting the scales right side up. And so I started doing work like that. I started going to Capitol Hill. People started inviting me to different places to talk. But my main thing, I had wanted to go to the churches and in the school and talk to the children. Because I knew a trap was being set up for them. It was so like I knew, they were gonna go in the pipeline. At a certain age, they already looking at you.
Right. I also read that at one point in your life you wanted to become a warden.
No, what it was, I could have very well become a warden.
Before you start, let me ask you this: do you think that?
I know what you're saying.
Do you think that becoming a warden would have helped the inmates more?
Oh yeah, but I know what you're talking about. I forgot all about that. I was working at Triangle Correctional Institution, so and then I became a case manager. Then that was getting bored to me. Mm-hmm. So Central Prison had a position for assistant warden. So I applied for the position. The reason I applied for a position, a whole lot of times I used to apply for a position, probably knowing I wasn't going to get it, but I wanted to brush up on my interview skills.
Right.
So the first interview at Central Prison, if the people in North Carolina know, that's the state prison. That's the big house.
Right.
And they called me back. They said, Mr. Jones, you did so good. They called me back for a second interview. And they were serious. So I came back for a second interview and they said, you did pretty good. But see, with DC Department of Correction, I had all of that, in my background.
Right.
A lot of stuff in my background. They knew if I worked in DC Department of Correction, they knew I could handle that basic in a job, in the prison system. And I didn't get the job, but it was great knowing that I was considered for the job to be assistant warden.
Right.
And
awesome.
in the federal system, I could have very well been a warden. It's a lot of politics with that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of politics. And I really didn't want to play the politics.
I feel you.
I could have
I wanted to go back to Ava DuVernay and When They See Us. I know you said it was your wife that interviewed Ava DuVernay. In the documentary Ava DuVernay, When They See Us, the overseeing prosecutor was named Linda Fairstein. Have you ever heard of her?
I heard of her when I was looking at the movie.
Oh yeah. So you know that she tried to sue Ava DuVernay for defamation of character, I believe. And they ended up throwing her lawsuit out.
But see, Ava DuVernay reached out to her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and she didn't want to have anything to do with it. So it's not like, you know, she played her character and then, you know, try to get her permission. She wanted her, she reached out.
Right.
You know, and that lady didn't want to participate.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to try to sue people when you have the facts right in front of you.
Right.
Ava DuVernay went with the facts.
Right.
So if she didn't go with the facts, then she wouldn't have went to that prosecutor to get her version.
Right.
So the fact that they didn't give their version, so she had to get all this documentation and try to make the movie, you know, according to that.
Do you think that Linda Fairstein cases should be reopened?
Yeah, I really do. And I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of cases, just like the guy that the former officer that quit, Amar Arbery.
Yes.
All his cases should be open.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these? Tell me now, since you brought up Ahmaud Arbery, tell me how you feel about Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Tatiana Jefferson, all these people that has been killed by the hands of white police officers. Tell me how you feel about that.
Basically, I feel disgusted, but at the same time, I'm not even surprised. You know, I'm really not. I think what it is, this is happening so much that we have just got tired of it. Now
or became immune to it.
Now you're doing it right in front of our face.
Yeah.
So we didn't have cell phones a long time ago.
Right.
So we already done it in the past and got away with it. Now I think people are getting mad because we got cell phones. We see you commit murder.
Right.
Get off of it. I'm gonna tell you about that. I'm gonna tell you the reason why a lot of law enforcement get off. All right, a lot of stuff is in their training manual. What to do, how to put you in a maneuver, self-defense. All right, you're supposed to use common sense.
Right.
And, you know, let me tell you this. The basic thing in law enforcement, you are told to use the minimum amount of force necessary to get the situation under control.
Right.
Once that situation is under control and the person can no longer move or maneuver, you stop. Some people are be calm and some people are going to be combative. So you might have to use some physical force. But once you get that situation under control, you no longer have the authority to use physical force. And a lot of people don't realize that. But in the police manual, a law enforcement manual, you know, when the grand jury is looking at it, they say, well, okay, this person is only doing what their manual say they can do. So therefore, you know, we gotta let this person go. You know,
right.
But you got to use you got to use common sense. You got to know when someone's saying they can't breathe. Let me tell you about Floyd. What disappointed me the most. Okay, regardless what happened prior to the family, regardless, you know, forget that. You know, the fact of the matter is, he's on the ground. His hand is in the back.
Right.
You got 3 officers and 1 officer standing up and 3 officers on here and 1 with the knee. If I tell you I can't breathe, if I tell you that I can't breathe, if you let your knee up off my neck, where I'm going at?
Right.
I'm no threat to you.
Exactly.
I'm no threat to you.
Exactly.
Even if I were lying, I'm still no threat to you. What can I do? Face down on the ground with my hands on the back, what can I do? But a lot of people don't realize. You know, they arrested 1 officer, but you have to arrest all of them.
Right.
Also, in the manual, it states, in some manual, it states, if you see your coworker violating that code, it's your responsibility to step in.
Right. They just
So
stood there.
all the officers that were sitting around and not doing anything, you know, they're just as guilty. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, let me tell you this. It goes back to what I read in the Bible. I can't quote it. I'm not gonna try to quote it. It states that if you see something that's wrong and you don't do anything about it, you are just, God will hold you just as guilty. I mean
just
it
guilty.
goes right on back to the Bible. You know, but they got this good old boy system. Now you don't snitch on me, I don't snitch on you, and stuff like this. I was a different type of person. You know what I'm saying? I was on the right side. You know, if an inmate was right, I was on their side. If the inmate was wrong, I was on our side. I mean, it was just that cut and dry. That's the way I am anyway.
Your fellow Carvercourtian have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you think about the charges that they gave him? 3rd-degree manslaughter.
I'm kind of disappointed about that. They could have gave him 1st degree, and
that's straight up 1st degree all day long. Manslaughter shouldn't even be in there. Manslaughter is when you accidentally kill somebody.
Right. You know, I would have went for the 1st degree, and then, you know, if 1st degree didn't work, they can just drop it down. But I would have went with the highest first.
Right, they went straight at 3rd, and they said in his autopsy, they said that strangulation didn't cause his death. His death was from pre-existing condition.
But check this out, though. It exacerbated his condition.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like what I said. If he didn't have his knee in his neck, then he'd have been alive. He still had them pre-existing conditions, but he'd have been alive.
It's just like this. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. I have asthma. All right. If someone decided to just bust me in my chest, you know, and I die, and they can say, well, you know, he didn't, he didn't die from this, you know, he died from asthma. So, you know, he didn't die, you know, by the blunt force object. He died from an asthma attack. But if you want to hit me with a blunt force object in my chest, it wouldn't induce an asthma attack for me to die.
Right.
So I'm finished with all that foolishness about the autopsy. A lot of autopsies I don't trust anyway.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are fed up. We're sick and tired of. I don't know if we're sick and tired of being sick and tired quite yet, but I know that a lot of people are tired, and that's probably why the riots have been breaking out across a lot of cities across the United States. What do you say to people who say they don't understand why people riot?
I'm gonna tell you like this. One incident don't cause the riot. I mean, it's a lot of incident causes riot.
That build up
and continue to build up, and the people that's committing the crimes getting away with it right in front of your face. So it get to a point, it builds up, and then an incident that happened, it triggers everything.
Right.
You know, they going off of that. You know what I'm saying? Well, he already locked up. I thought that's why they wanted him to be locked up. You know, I thought they wanted him to be charged for murder, but the people don't get it. It's so many things that built up so much, you know, that it's just people just sitting here with everything. We're sick of it.
Right.
We're not gonna stop. And sometimes you don't know what to do. Sometimes you don't know what to do. But
they burned the precinct down.
Yeah, but check this out. Okay, let me give my view on this thing. In every riot, they have law enforcement people dressed dressed just like you and I.
Right.
They getting information. You don't know it because you know they're in the crowd.
They be in plain clothes.
Information, and they acting like they're doing a lot of stuff, but they really get information. You know who's doing what. You understand where I'm coming from? So
Well,
I call them agent provocateurs. They get in there and they started throwing, stuff, acting like they with the crowd and stuff like that.
listen, it's funny that you said that. You know, there is a video circulating of a guy who started breaking the windows in the AutoZone in Minneapolis before the riot started, and they believe that he was a police officer.
Yeah, I think they're looking into it now. I think I read that his wife, spotted him and said that was him.
Wow.
But the thing is, that happens all the time. So I'm gonna tell you like this: most of the riots that happen, it's from the people that come from the outside. People that actually stay there. They come from other states and come from other cities and stuff. That's like in Ferguson. A lot of people got like, man, those people in Ferguson don't know how to act. But people was coming from outside of Ferguson, coming in their city, and they was causing all that. And it's like this. Let me give you a prime example. They didn't have no business locking up that CNN man the other night.
You know what? I did not follow that. What happened? I didn't follow that. I saw the headline, but I didn't click on it. All I know is that they arrested a CNN cameraman.
He didn't do anything wrong. He was asking the officer, should I stand over here? Just tell me what to do. Wherever you want me to stand, whatever you want me to do. I'm with CNN. Here's my badge and stuff. They knew he was with CNN. They'd seen the cameras and stuff.
Right.
But the officer saying, well, they got their orders to lock him up.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why too. And then I wonder why the CNN monument downtown got defaced.
I didn't know that either. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that in Atlanta. When they were riding to downtown in Atlanta at Centennial Park, and they got CNN headquarters down there. They started spray painting and doing everything. I wonder why. CNN,
wow.
I have my ideas, but I'm just keeping it to myself because I like to have.
I feel you.
I like to have facts.
I feel you.
I
feel you. So let's talk about these books. I see you have 7 books. I thought you only had 3. But that's because we only have 3.
You're right. I appreciate you all for buying my books.
Absolutely. See, it's all about supporting one another. If everybody learn how to do that, we'll be all right.
Yeah. Okay. The first book.
Straight Out of Jail, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, a gun violence survivor.
We got it. Okay, we could talk a second or two on that.
Okay.
I don't know whether you know it or not. When I was in North Carolina Central, when I came home for spring break, I got shot. At a chic discotheque.
I was at that club. I was there.
Oh, okay. Okay,
so you know that night. I left early, but I was there. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But the thing is, it was a lot of things that was happening prior to me getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you the reason I came up with the title, "The Wrong Place, Wrong Time." I'm not ashamed to say live on camera that I suffer from depression, and anxiety and PTSD. I'm not ashamed to say that. It's been going on ever since I was 6 years old.
Right.
But in this book, a lot of things that was happening to me was kind of crazy because if you know my personality, I don't go around starting trouble.
Right.
But I would defend myself at all costs.
Right.
But the thing is, it was a God element into that book. I didn't know how to listen. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't tuned in. I was getting a lot of hints.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting in fights that I don't normally get into. I didn't start them. I would go to University of North Carolina, wind up fighting and going to different places, and people want to start trouble with me. That was, I should have caught on what was going on.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
yeah.
God was, God was speaking but I didn't know how to listen. That's the only way I didn't know how, because I wasn't tuned in. I believed in God, went to church and all that, but it wasn't registering with me.
Right.
There was an incident, 2 incidents. One incident I could have been dead, and one incident I could have been in prison.
Mm.
The first incident happened. One of the guys, him and his girlfriend came to our apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it that way. I didn't sell drugs, but my roommate sold marijuana. And they asked, could they buy it? I was like, nah, I don't have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? You had to wait for homeboy to come.
Right.
It was on a Thursday night, and I had a class from 7 to 9:30. So we sat around and talked. I said, man, I got to go to class. This class is once a week. I can't miss it. You know what I'm saying? He said, the Cowboys are coming on tonight, and they playing the St. Louis Cardinals. Come on down to the crib after you, after you get out of class. He didn't drink and nothing like that. He didn't drink. I'm giving you the short version because the other people, they're going to have to read that book. Homeboy didn't drink, but, his girlfriend drank wine. So I got out of class early, right around 9 o'clock. I stopped by the convenience store and got a 6-pack of beer. Budweiser. I drank. I didn't smoke, but I drank. So I parked my car in front of my apartment. Instead of going inside my apartment, I went to his apartment because I was so ready to, look at the game.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody know me, the Cowboys my team. So when I was going down the hill to his apartment, I seen a lot of police cars. I mean, it was a bunch of police cars and stuff, and yellow tape roped off. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking, I'm like, that looked like Rick's apartment. And the news people heard me, right? They come running over. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, do you know the person that stayed there? I said, yeah, I'm going there now. You know what I'm saying? I'm agitated because I want to get in there. I don't miss some of the game. You know what I'm saying? And they pushed me back and said I couldn't go in there. Do you know? I said, yeah, Rick, do you know the woman behind the ditch? I said, what woman behind the ditch? You know what I'm saying? It was a murder that took place that I wasn't aware of before I got there.
Wow.
So what happened was my friend Rick, may Val rest in peace. Rick was very nice. And I'm not even gonna tell you actually what really happened that caused that. I don't know what happened, but I think I do know what happened because I found out later on, Rick had stabbed Val about 30
Thank
times.
God
He stabbed her about 30 times, took her behind the apartment building with a ditch and put her in the ditch. That's why they asked, did I know the girl? So the police and detective can't come talking to me. I'm like, oh, So, you know what I said. I'm like,
right.
I'm like, oh, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting out of class. You know what I'm saying? Are they thinking that I had something to do with it? You know what I'm saying? And I did have to go. They interviewed me. And of course, I know that they, after they interviewed me, they checked and see whether or not I was in class.
So was that in the first book?
Yes.
Straight Out of Hell, Wrong Place, Wrong Time. And then the second book, Straight Out of Hell 2, True Character of a Man, Inside the Truth of the Criminal Justice System.
Yeah. And this book basically talk about shortly after, graduate from North Carolina Central, I went with DC Department of Corrections, start working at Lorton. And, like most institutions I worked at, whenever I walked in there, it was people of color that, majority of people that locked up. And it goes back to talk about the laws I was talking about earlier. And it goes back to talk about the riots that, that I was talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
That caused my mind to change. Also, it talks about, I'm going to give you this hint. I can't give you no more. One of O.J. Simpson's lawyer. You know, he was down where we was at after the trial. You know, F. Lee Bailey.
Oh, okay, I remember him.
It talks about him a little bit, and just give you those little things out there to make a person want to get it.
So
check this out though. It also talked about one of the guys, a former police officer in LA that had allegedly, I have to keep saying allegedly, had something to do with Biggie Smalls getting killed.
Oh, and that's a little bit. You talk a little bit about that in the second book.
Yes. Okay. It talks about that. Yeah.
Okay.
It talks about that. And I just, talked about the mass incarceration.
But we have that second book. I got to go back and look at that. I got the second book. We got the first and the second one now. The third one I didn't know anything about. I wasn't raised to play by their rules.
Okay.
And all of these books are available on Amazon. You can play. You got the paperback. You all right now? Got the paperback, and you can also read it on what is it called? The Amazon
Kindle or something like that.
Kindle. Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. The third book.
Barnes and Noble, Amazon. I even see my book on Walmart website. Yeah. Okay. They all circulated. And some of the books I had to go back and add more stuff, I just update to another edition here, another edition there.
Oh, okay, because I noticed that the covers of the first two books are different now.
Yeah, my lovely wife, she designed all my covers, and she wanted, the more skills that she learned, she went back and we decided to change the covers and stuff like that.
Mrs. Goldwater is a boss, honey. She is a boss, honey.
But that third book talks about it's also what we was taught coming up. It also goes back to the Bible.
Right.
I wasn't raised to play by your rules. And the thing is sort of like it comes from what you and I have been told.
Right.
Doing to others that you have been doing to you.
Right.
So if I'm working and you got some dirty stuff going on, I'm not with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't even do stuff in front of my face.
I feel you.
You do stuff in front of my face, that means you don't respect me.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a yes person at all. You know what I'm saying?
You wasn't a follower.
Yeah. And that book, I wrote about the 5 EEO complaints. I wrote about the 5 EEO complaints.
So hold on one second. Goldwater, we got some I got somebody in the Facebook chat room said hello there. Let me see who this is right quick. And also, if y'all want to ask Goldwater any questions, feel free. We got Lamarck Bernie, LB Bernie in the chat room, Valita Mallory in the chat room. All these are Kinston people. We got Michael Emerson. He says, amen. If we are not seeking the Heavenly Father for change, transformation, the ultimate miracle we can seek from the Heavenly Father, then we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. That was from Michael Emerson in the chat room on Facebook. Shouts out to all you guys. If y'all have any questions for Goldwater, feel free to post it in there. If you want to hop on the platform and talk to Goldwater, we can do that too now, if you have time, that is. But I'm sorry, I cut you off. We was talking about your third book. Yes.
I wasn't raised to play by their rules. Basically talking about, doing to others you have them doing to you. I wrote 5 EEO complaints.
Right.
I took one to court about what was going on in the institution. I was charged with a terrorist threat because of my prediction.
What?
Oh yeah. I served some time on the street, 14 days without pay, and it wasn't a terrorist threat. And I can only just go into it a little bit. what it was, when white staff members would come in, bring in contraband, you know, and stuff like that to the prison, they weren't being disciplined. If it was very severe, they'd get called to the warden's office and get a chance to resign. So you know when you resign, you know, you don't have anything on your record. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if they fire you, it's different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They can go out and get another federal job because they resign before any charges can take place. Black staff members, when they were doing the same thing, they was getting time on the street. They was getting time in prison. So I wrote a memo to the warden. I said, if this act continues, if you don't, you know, because it's biased, if you don't treat black staff members like white staff members when it comes time to discipline, someone's gonna come in here and shoot up this place. I didn't say I was gonna shoot it up, but it goes back to people are getting tired of seeing you get away with stuff, and I'm doing the same thing, and I don't get away with it because of my skin color.
Right.
It goes back to that. And lo and behold, when I retired in 2003, I think this happened in 2004, either 2005 in Tallahassee. The officers was charged. White officer had a chance to resign. I think they got their charges about 6 o'clock in the evening time, bringing the contraband, you know, and stuff like that. They had already sent their stuff out to the courts and stuff, and grand jury said they had enough evidence to indict. Okay, this happened at 6 o'clock that evening. Those guys supposed to come to work at 12 o'clock that night. You go get those guys then. But see what the institution was trying to do, we go wait till they come to work at 12 o'clock. And when they get off, when everybody come, you know, coming in to work and the inmates all working and stuff, we can embarrass them. You know what I'm saying? And what happened was, one officer got a call from his lawyer that night saying that they already indicted you, you know, stuff like that. So he went to work. A lot of them went to work anyway at 12 o'clock. All right, but he took his revolver inside with him. You know, we don't, you know, and Lorden, they can talk junk about Lorden all they want to, but I'm gonna tell you like this. Lorden is the only institution I ever worked at that we get officers get patted down. And they look
really
bad and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so they can talk junk all they want to. If we would do the same thing where I was working at, the feds would do the same thing, a lot of stuff wouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? But so you know, the guy was very calm. He seen the investigators and you know come through the salad port. He knew what was going on. They were coming to get him at the detention center, and also at the same time, like I said earlier, the Federal Correctional Institution, Tallahassee, right beside the Federal Detention Center, and other officers were being laid out in handcuffs. Black officers. And went Indian. You know, this guy, he played Indian when it was convenient for him. And he was white when it was convenient for him. You know, he was the Indian. I mean, he said he was the Indian. But I'm not really going to go into that. What happened, the guy stepped out of Sallyport. He seen Attorney Farrell and stuff like that. He took out his pistol, killed one of the agents. On the outside, they had like Leon County Sheriff Department. They had everything all set up to embarrass these guys. You know what I'm saying? And they shot him. They shot probably about 44 times. You know, one lieutenant that used to stay beside me got shot in the stomach or the chest. One an agent, as a matter of fact, I want to say Attorney Affairs, but might have been from the Inspector General office. I'm not for sure. I think she got.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's too much for me.
So,
I couldn't do it.
So the thing is, I didn't play by their rules. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Could have.
So you was a troublemaker.
Yeah, but see, like this, no one had to get killed. They should have gone.
Right.
They should have gone to the officer's house and locked them up then. Don't wait till they get to work the next morning. But see, they was coordinated with the investigator at the institution. And the investigator at the institution was a racist. So they want to make a prime example. We're going to march these guys out in handcuffs, in front of all the inmates and staff members. But when that guy got killed, I'm going to tell you the ramification for that. Officers was exchanging shifts. So when the officers seen that, a lot of them suffering now from PTSD. Seeing a fellow officer get gunned down by, like that. A lot. And see, when you do stuff like that, there are consequences you have to pay.
Right.
It didn't have to happen. They could have been called to the warden office like they normally do. Most of the time, suppose that, whenever charges is going to be brought against you, you're called to the warden office. Not all this embarrassment mess like that. You're called into the warden's office and they tell you right there, not in front of everybody.
Right.
But they want to prance you around the institution, put handcuffs on you, and make a mockery out of you.
That's what they love to do.
But
make a mockery out of you.
But they didn't make a mockery out of all the whites. And I'm not trying to make this black and white. I'm just, just right and wrong. And this is why I can only tell you what I experienced.
Right.
I'm not a racist, but I would call out a racist.
Right.
I'm not, I'm not gonna get into I got white friends and all that. People say that all the time.
All the time, right?
I really don't want to get, but I do. You know what I'm saying? But I treat people like they treat me.
Exactly.
If you go by that golden rule, regardless whether you're white, black, Hispanic, anything, if you treat me right, I'm treating you right.
Exactly.
If you treat me wrong.
What about I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying
what about
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say if you treat me wrong, well, it's a totally different story.
Yeah.
That's all I was
So what about patient versus doctor misdiagnosis? I didn't know about that one either.
A lot of people didn't know.
No, we don't. We don't have that one. We only have the first two and the last one.
Yeah. To contact me directly, I do have this, and you can, after this, you can email me your address and stuff, and I send it to you, no problem.
What is this one about?
This
your condition, the condition you was just talking about.
No, I'm gonna get to that condition I was just talking about, but this was this was talking about when I had prostate cancer.
Still that rise manic depression.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna get to that depression book in a minute, but patient versus Doctor Misdiagnosis. I was 35 years old. I was competing in competition. I kept getting urinary tract infection. I kept getting sick. They kept putting me on medication. They didn't know what was going on. They said, I look athletic, I don't look sick, but I kept getting sick. And I went to a urologist.
Right.
And they just kept on saying, different things. And so, me, when I say patient versus doctor, I mean, I was questioning my doctors. So to make a long story short, from 19, I want to say probably 2000 to about 9 years, I went to like 5 different specialists. I even came up to DC. I came up to Maryland, went to Johns Hopkins. Very disappointed with Johns Hopkins. They agreed with the rest of the doctors. Well, just take the pills for the rest of your life. Matter of fact, they didn't even examine me. I had sent them all the information that they requested, flew up there, just knew I was gonna get Johns Hopkins, one of the best.
Right.
They treated me, they didn't treat me right. I'm not even gonna curse, they didn't treat me right. So a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you go to the Mayo Clinic? I said, man, I'm not getting ready to go to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. So, well, you used to stay in Tallahassee. They got a Mayo Clinic down in Jacksonville, Florida. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Go down to Jacksonville, Florida. They said, we want to just do one thing. I just want to, the doctor said, I just want to look at the prostate. I want to do an MRI. I want to see that prostate for myself. Saw the prostate, found 2 tumors. Then he said, I want to do a biopsy. Did a biopsy, came back cancer. A lot of people would think that I was disappointed, but nah, it was the world lifted off my shoulder. Now we got to the bottom of why, now we're getting ready to do something.
Right. Now you know.
We're getting ready to do something about it.
Right.
Me being hard-headed, I almost changed my mind about going through the process. But, I got real sick, and I got deathly ill. My fingers, inside my fingers turning blue. My eyes are blurry. And they thought that those cancer cells had gotten out. Because my organs started shutting down. And it was almost saying, like God said, all right, allow them to find it. You mean to tell me you're not going to go through the process? I told you. I had surgery already scheduled. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In my mind, I was like, hell, I ain't going through that. But I got sick one more time and one more time, and I became deathly ill. And it was sort of like, I got the message. I went on through the process.
Right. Right.
So
what is it about? What is it about? That's what I was getting ready to say to you. That's another thing you can be an advocate for, because men, it's hard to get men to go to the doctor.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. Now I guess because I go to the doctor a lot. Because see, I grew up with asthma, and I still have asthma.
Right.
So when we were staying in Carver Court, I was always sick. So I was so used to going to the doctor. Even when I got old, I was so used to going to the doctor. But I hear people say, I don't go to the doctor, But I do advocate for that. Sometimes I speak on that. Sometimes church invite me to speak, about patients versus doctors.
Right.
And I get a lot of feedback, So, that also changed me to become an advocate.
Okay.
It's just broadened everything about me. Put it this way, all my experience I got to go through, I end up advocating for it. And
right. That's awesome, ain't it?
Yeah, where it affect other people. I do it, not even knowing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's the most high Yah. That's the most high. That's God.
Yeah.
That's God right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so number 5, still I rise, manage depression.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that one either.
A lot of people. I know what it is. When I was staying in Kinston, North Carolina, because I have to say Kinston, North Carolina, because a lot of people are not from Kinston. That's my hometown.
Right.
I say Carver Court. A lot of people don't know what Carver Court is. That's where I grew up at.
Right.
We had a cemetery right behind Carver Court, right? So when I was growing up, I just felt like crying all the time, but I didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And we were taught not to cry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we were taught not to cry. So I used to go to that cemetery and shed those tears. I didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Until I got older. When I played ball and stuff like that, I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't articulate my plays and stuff like that. I had to work extra hard. So when I was in 11th grade, because my grandma always took me to the doctor. I didn't go inside the examining room without her. So this particular time, I went to the doctor because of my asthma. And my grandma was getting ready to go back in the exam room. I said, "Well, I can go back there by myself." And the reason why I want to go back by myself, because I want to tell the doctor what I've been experiencing, all my life. And he said, you suffer from depression. So we could send you to a psychiatrist. And I was like, oh, no, hell you're not. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. I'm going. I shut it down. So I shut it down. That was in probably 1981. I didn't go get help until 1999. I shut it down because see, we had that stigma. We have
until when?
1999. I didn't go get help until 1999 when I was going through a lot of
Wow.
a lot of stuff.
11 years later?
I held it. I held it for so long I didn't tell anybody. Because see, we had that stigma about, you know, being labeled.
Right.
As crazy, off in the head. You know what I'm saying? And I really didn't want to tell my story.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the reason I told my story. This is the reason I told my story. I was looking at TV, the news, and I seen this black female, because I had the volume turned down, and she was crying, right? Hysterically, she was crying. So I turned the volume up just to see what she was crying about. And her son had committed suicide. All A student, she didn't have a clue that he would even suffer from depression when he left that note. So here I am in my living room. I like, you know, should I tell my story? I'm working at a prison. If I tell my story, all the inmates gonna hear about it. You know, the people already think you're weak, stuff like that.
Right.
But it was almost like God was like, now I don't hear voices or nothing like that when God's speaking. I don't hear it. I just got a feeling when I'm being nudged to do something. So I called I called TV station. I called a couple of wrong TV stations thinking that, they the one that interviewed the lady. So then I messed around and called Florida A&M University. And I said, well, this lady, did y'all interview her? You know, her son committed suicide. I said, no. I said, do you know how I can get in contact with anybody? They didn't know what I was talking about. And so the lady said, you're so adamant about this suicide that took place. I said, yeah, because I suffer from depression and it's time for me to tell that story to keep a lot of other people from, to get people to go get help.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it happens in our community more than we think. I have a daughter that suffers from depression.
Yeah.
And she see things. So yeah.
And so, and like Mike Tyson and a lot of other people, suffer from and see, you can see different things in people that suffer from depression. Either you go sleep a lot,
yeah,
you can't sleep. Either you go eat a lot, or either you can't eat. Either your grades gonna be so bad, and stuff like. I mean, the signs of depression is sort of like when you have a very active kid, then all of a sudden they just go into a shell. And you know something wrong. It's not your kid. It's time to start asking questions.
Yeah,
things of that nature. So the lady convinced me to come on TV. And I came and I gave my story as a lieutenant. And I knew the inmates were looking at the thing.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? When I came back to work, I didn't get nothing but praise.
Right.
The inmates were saying, man, I don't know how you did that. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever
go ahead?
Did you ever get in contact with the lady? Did you ever find the lady that was on the
I could never find her.
Wow.
So when I went on that show, and of course, I'm gonna send you some YouTube links and stuff when I was on the show. I went on that show, and then they asked me to come back. You know what I'm saying? This time they had a psychiatrist, me and a psychiatrist on the show.
Oh.
And so it was so like, they said they had received so many ratings and stuff like that. And I was like, I ain't gonna keep on telling my story. That's what I'm saying to myself, right?
Right.
But I kept telling my story, and that's just the bottom line. The people that's out there that suffer from depression, you don't always have to go to a doctor. You can talk to one of your best friends. But see, when you go to a psychologist, they can't administer medication. They ain't gonna do nothing but talk to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can talk to your friend, your best friend, that you don't think that's gonna give away your secrets.
Right.
If you go to a psychiatrist, they administer medication. You know what I'm saying? It's like this, and I'm gonna leave it at that with that particular book. Inside that prison system and in our community, a lot of people commit suicide during the holidays.
Mm.
You know, when they lose a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now COVID-19.
Right.
Commit suicide and stuff like that. They don't know what to do. And things of that nature. I'm gonna give you an example during Christmas time. We used to, back in Carver Court, we used to listen to the song, What Do the Lonely Do for Christmas? And that was a nice song. I love that song. But that song will put you in a depressed mood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thinking about it, yeah.
It brings out a lot of depression. So you have to stay away from that. You got to know your triggers. You have to know to stay away from negative people.
Right.
You know, sometimes when I receive a phone call and I see the person that's calling, I won't answer.
Right.
Especially if I'm in a good mood. Because
right.
every time that individual call, I get off the phone, I'm depressed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
You have to, food that you eat. You know, I was a junk food eater from Lewis School all the way up. I was at Central. I didn't eat collards until my sophomore year in college. We had all the nutritional stuff. I just ate spaghetti and pizza.
Because I know your grandma had a garden, didn't she?
Well, she had she would go out to her niece to get all her stuff. In the country. No, the cemetery out there by Highway 70. I forgot the name of the cemetery.
I know what you're talking about.
Not is it Judgetown? Maybe it's Judgetown. Out there on Highway 70.
Judgetown. Is it Judgetown?
Yeah,
yes, I think so.
Yeah, well, all of us get buried at, you know.
Yeah,
see, my grandma had a garden out there. So my grandma grew up on a farm before she moved to Carver Court.
Right.
But still go out in the country and get that. And don't you know that eating right will help with depression? I wouldn't say it if I didn't experience myself. Exercise. And see, that's how I was able to help my own self out without telling people I had depression.
I see.
I might go in there and exercise and feel depressed, but when I come out, I feel better. So it got to the point when I was working out, going in depressed, I was coming back out depressed. So, you know, that was my way out. You know what I'm saying?
Because no one would have ever thought that you were depressed because you was always smiling.
That's the key. You got to get the book. It'll tell you all the time. I always had that smile on my face, but I was trying to hide it. But the book gives solution. It gives you the 5 triggers and stuff. If they want the information, they're going to have to get the book. Patient versus Doctor Misdiagnosis. No. Still all right.
This is my favorite one.
Okay. Oh, your favorite?
My favorite book, Kinston, North Carolina.
This right here.
Kinston, North Carolina, The Formula to Go Pro. Let's talk about this. What prompted you to write this book?
I'm going to tell you like this. When I was in Tallahassee, right, I had wanted, you know, I always bragged about a lot of people that came out of Kinston, right?
Kinston, North Carolina.
Yeah, Kinston, North Carolina.
Because there's also a Kinston, Illinois. Sometimes I say Kinston, and people be like, I didn't know you from Kinston. I know you've been living in Illinois. I'm like, no, boo-boo, Kinston, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And the seed was planted probably in 94, 95. And I just I touched on it in my first book. But my wife convinced me, she said, look, make that book separate. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I wrote the book, I wanted people to acknowledge our hometown. See, they just know people like Brandon Ingram. They know
Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah, Jerry Stackhouse, Reggie Bullock, Cedric Maxwell, Derek Rivers, Reggie Smith. Cedric Maxwell played with the Boston Celtics. He got a couple of championship rings. They call him cornbread. Right. Recently, Derek Rivers played with New England Patriots, and he got a Super Bowl ring last year. Kinston. Of course, Charles Shackelford, you know, he played on several different teams. Jerry Stackhouse, he was awesome when he played ball. Everybody know about Jerry Stackhouse, and he's a coach now. I can't think of it.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vanderbilt. He was a coach. We also have some players. We also have players play baseball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Football too.
You got Jerry Stackhouse, like I mentioned, Charles Shackelford, Mitchell Wiggins. A lot of people,
yes.
Well, he ain't from Kinston. I say he's from Lenoir County. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right.
And Kinston is in Lenoir County.
Right. Lynn Dawson, Ron Wooten, and people like that. And we even have a tennis player and a couple of baseball players. I don't want to go through the whole book to give it away. It's so many.
Excellent book.
It's so many. Check this out though. I don't know if my wife want me to tell it. But, we was in Vegas, and who was the ESPN person? Oh, yeah. The executive, vice executive, ESPN that does this 30 for 30 editions of ESPN.
Right.
My wife was there to cover an event, and I was there to help out. And he was getting an award. So I said, okay. I had my book. So when he came off stage, I cut him off. I went over there real quick because he had another plane to catch. And I started talking about, I had to get all the information out real quick. I couldn't get everything. But when he heard Stackhouse,
right.
When he heard cornbread and Stackhouse, it got his attention. Then he started through the book. I said, I want you to do a 30 for, Kinston been covered a lot. Don't get me wrong. I said, I want you to do a 30 for 30 edition for Kinston, North Carolina. As a matter of fact, that was the same time that Nipsey Hussle had gotten murdered. And we was in Vegas. So he gave me his email. He said, contact me. So we flew back. I contacted him. He said, I'm going to put you in contact with somebody else. So he was a man of his word. So I had to fill out an application. I couldn't tell anybody stuff. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't, did I pitch this information to somebody else and stuff like, did I sign it? Basically, I signed in the contracts before I talked to him. They said, it's funny that I should say that because in a couple more days, I'm reaching back out to do the same thing. They said they had so much content. They said it was good content, but maybe in the future. But they was considering. Yeah, but they was considering that. They were considering my book. Feature for 30 for 30. So next week, I already got it written down on things I need to do. So next week was one of those things, I had written down to reach back out and ask them. Because, they did a stir on Durant in Prince George County. They called it, and it was on Showtime. They called it, It Must Be in the Water. Now, we have more people out of North County than Prince George County to go pro. I ain't talking about they they made an impact. You know what I'm saying? They made an impact. So I'm reaching out to them again sometime next week. I'm gonna follow up and ask them, could they reconsider? And I'm hopefully, we can get some more publicity. But I'm not trying to do it for myself. I'm basically just trying to do it for my hometown. And I didn't design this book. My wife designed the book.
I told you she a boss. She a boss.
Yeah. A lot of people like to give me credit for stuff, but I don't know how to do all these things. I just know how to write, and a whole lot of times she tell me I need to tone it down, and
but that's awesome. That's awesome. She's a boss lady. That's what's up.
It's kind of hard for me to tone it down, but I'm learning. But she made sense,
Right.
You want to sell books to everybody. You can get your point across without, saying a few things. Because, you want everybody to buy your book. You want people in the church to buy your book. You want everybody to buy your community. You want children to buy your book and stuff like that. So I understood where she was coming from. But also
that's your help meet. That's your help meet.
Yeah, I can dig it.
That's what we're here for. That's what's up. So what's up for Goldwater? What's up for Goldwater in the future? What's coming up next?
It's my clothes right now. You see right here, It's Advocateforjustice clothing line.
Oh, you got the clothing line.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
I
like that. I thought that was a Cowboys. It looks sort of like the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's why one of the Cowboys when I
went in blue.
Pro Bowl, when I went to cover the Pro Bowl and I was talking to one of the Cowboys, he said, "Man, you got on our colors." But what it is, it's a scale. It's a scale. This justice, and this scale is right side up, and this scale right here is upside down. So the scale of justice is upside down now. So we're trying to get the scales of justice to be right side up. We want to be treated fairly. And if you treat us fairly, you'll be amazed,
Right. We good people. We good people. We just want fair treatment.
Yeah, because we are the most forgiving people. We are the most forgiving race.
We got to stop doing that. We got to cut that mess out, though. It's time to stop.
Yeah.
It's time to stop.
That's right. Like in the Bible, it says it's a time for everything. So it's a time to rise up.
There you go.
Now, and we're not just doing it for us. We're doing it for the next generation.
That exactly. So I don't know, for the listeners, a lot of people don't know that you and my husband grew up together in Carver Court.
Yeah, he was check this out though. He had a position that I didn't have. He was the vice president of the B&J boys.
What's that?
The B&J boys. That was the
Bobby and Julius.
Yeah,
that's where they got the B&J from.
Bobby.
Oh, Lordy.
He had a title when we was growing up. But I'm going to tell you like this.
You was the vice president?
Yeah, B&J boy.
Yeah.
Vice president of the B&J boys?
Yeah. Bobby and Julius. I'm going to tell you like this. It was just like, okay, now when you hear about gangs, you think about violence and stuff like that. Our gang our court wasn't like that. We'll go, we'll go marching and stuff around Carver Court. We had something called a dog team, DOGTEAM, dog team, and you should see the people that are coming outside their apartments and stuff, and we were doing like military style and stuff like that. But we going out there getting in trouble and stuff like that, like gangs. A lot of people.
Y'all was off the hook. I ain't mess with Carver Court too much. Y'all was off the hook.
Yeah, but
y'all was off the hook.
But check this out though. I want to say this about gangs. The gangs originally started not being violent. They just didn't want people coming in their neighborhood, turn up their stuff, and stuff like that. It graduated to that. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna allow anybody from your neighborhood and destroy and do what you want to do. You protecting your neighborhood. So that's our game. Now it's took it to a whole different level now.
Whole different level.
But I want to
a whole different level.
I want to add that's a clothing line, and the reason my wife, she designed this. You want to call it another boss, but
boss lady.
Yeah, she designed all my apparel, right?
That's what's up.
As a matter of fact, the book, Kinston, North Carolina, the Formula to Go Pro, that was the hardest book I had to write. You know why?
Really?
I couldn't get a permission from nobody. I couldn't get pictures. You got to go through all of this and stuff. You can buy a picture, but you can't use it. You got to get permission.
Right.
You
copyright
copyrights. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's crazy.
It was so frustrating. I put the book down. I like to hell with this. I'm not getting ready to go. I mean, I went about 2 or 3 years. I got frustrated. She picked the book back up.
I feel you. Because it can be discouraging sometimes when you go ask people for help and you hear no everywhere you look. That can be discouraging.
Unless you're a boss lady.
I tell people all the time, I'm not trying to capitalize off your children and stuff like that. I just want my hometown recognized. That's all.
Right.
This book was made pleasure for me. You know what I'm saying? Whether I make any money or not, it's a pleasure because I want to give back to my hometown. That's all I want to do.
Right.
I'm not trying to get rich off of it. I just want to give back to my hometown and recognize coaches like Mr. Little. My uncle John Jones, aka JJ, they call him Coach Jones.
JJ is my first coach.
and went inside those communities. They didn't stay in their house. They went to their communities. They still go in those communities.
Right.
And try to get to those people. You know,
Right.
some teachers not going in there. A lot of teachers not facing it. A lot of teachers ain't going in the hood.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of them just ain't. You know, back then it was you know, it was a village back then when we was growing up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Most of the time you got beat not by your parents or your guardian, you got beat by somebody else.
By somebody else's parents. On the way home, you got your ass whooped.
Not even a neighbor, somebody across town.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so everybody knew each other. And by the time you think you slick and you done did what you had to do, but by the time you got home, they already knew what you done.
Yep. And also, not only that,
411.
we knew how to show respect for our elders.
Right.
We might have been cussing or carrying on, but as soon as they walk by, when they walk by, we cut it out.
Yeah, that's
now,
right.
These kids will cuss you out.
Yeah. And matter of fact, you know, that's why I understand why teachers go. You know, the teachers are the most underpaid people I know.
Yeah.
You know, they got to deal with a lot of stuff. You know, like my aunt, you know, Denrock Burner, you know, may she rest in peace. You know how many times she paid for children lunch? You know how many times my Uncle Jay paid for people, you know, lunch? You know how many times my Uncle Jay, you know, when we were playing sports and we go out of town and people didn't have anything to buy when we stopped at McDonald's after our game and stuff.
Yep.
Jay a little paid for a lot of the, you know, a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah.
You know,
he was my junior high school coach, my junior high school basketball coach. I know.
Yeah, so
I know.
You know, we need to get back to that. And we need to get back to just plain old respect. Like you said about respect. In Africa, in certain parts of Africa, when a grown person walk by, you got to stand up. You know what I'm saying? And it made me think about when Nipsey Hussle, when he had to go to Africa, you know, to visit his ancestors, you know, because his father wanted him to know his side,
right,
where they came from. And so, you know, when a grown person walked in the room, they had to stand up. When I seen that, I thought about some 20 years ago, what I read. You know, you have to stand up and then let them go by. Then you go back and fight.
Right. That's right.
You know? And
but
people
not
have
today.
gotten away from it. And also this, they took church out of the school.
Yes.
You know.
You know they trying to put that back in. They Donald Trump trying to put prayer back in school. God ain't going back in there. He ain't going back in there.
Yeah, because you done had so many chances.
Yes.
And not only this, we used to discipline our kids. So now you took that out.
Yep. And
so now, you know, your kid got more power with social service than you do. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, they telling you we could call social service and stuff like that. You know, and now people they wonder why some of our children are like they are. We are afraid to discipline our kids because we're afraid we're gonna go to jail.
Right.
You know, they can put charges on it.
Been there and done that. I've been there and done that.
Yeah,
I went to jail for whooping my daughter.
Yeah. When I told my children when they were growing up, hell, you know, I guess I'd be locked up if you disrespect me. Yeah, that's just the bottom line. You know, because I'm gonna keep you for going out there getting hurt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can have manners. You know, like
right.
I told my daughter this, you know, a couple years back, some people ride around with fake police cars. I
remember.
They have that, right?
Yep.
So, and they were raping these girls. You know, they get stopped.
In DC too.
So I told my daughter, at night, if she ever driving the car, keep on, call 911 and say that she have a policeman behind her, but she's afraid. Keep driving until you get to a gas station somewhere with some light.
Right.
You keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll pay for the tickets and stuff.
Right.
You know, because sometimes they'll get you for eluding the police.
Right.
I would deal with that. I would be broke, but you'll be living though.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I was locked up one time in DC for whooping my daughter, chastising my daughter. They locked me up. Ended up throwing the charges out, but that happened to me.
Yeah, and see, if we have to get back to that. Abuse do take place in some house, but abuse don't take place in all households.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
That's just the bottom line. If they would have allowed us to continue to discipline our kids, a lot of their people won't get robbed, a lot of their people won't get murdered, a lot of their people won't get raped.
Right.
It's a difference in abuse and discipline.
Yeah.
So I really, I am so glad that we finally got this done, Goldwater. We're going into an hour and a half now. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this podcast up. Do you have anything that you want to say before we close?
Go to Garry'Jones.com and order my apparel. I'm going to tell you like this. This is it ain't just a jersey. It's a jersey with a message. We're trying to get justice. So my wife created the clothing line, and go to Garry'Jones.com and you can get a jersey. It's called a hockey jersey. You can get a hoodie, and I want people to wear it. It's like this. What's your injustice? Some people injustice, what they don't like is people being bullied. So somebody asks you, tell me, what's this about? I said, well, I'm fighting for the people that's being bullied. I'm fighting for the people that's incarcerated. I want them to have justice, because your justice might not be my justice.
Right.
And that's what, and Florida and things like that. I'm fighting for justice. That's me. But what I'm saying, you might be fighting for teachers with better pay. You know what I'm saying? You might be fighting for a lot of different things, but you want justice. So, you might can't talk about criminal justice like I can, but you got some type of justice that you don't like.
Right.
And that you want to get correct. And
right.
You feel like the scales of justice is upside down. You want those scales of justice to be right side up. You want to be treated fairly.
Right.
And that's what my clothing line is about.
And then we got the Advocateforjustice.org website.
Yes. You go to that website, you can see a lot of stuff I was doing. I used to go on Capitol Hill. I used to lobby and stuff like that for the change of the laws. And, we covered up the Trayvon Martin case.
Yes.
You probably seen me
about that. Yeah, you interviewed the parents, right?
We talked to the parents, but I was behind the parents in the, I don't know whether or not you've seen the picture, but I was behind the parents.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, but I talked to the parents. They invited me, because every time I talk to the father, he wanted to talk. He wanted to continue to talk. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody else that I was fighting for, Michael Giles.
Okay.
They invite all the people that was got killed by the police.
Right.
Just gotten killed, just in general. So they invited them to the Justice Else March, where they had a platform. So one of the ladies, couldn't go. She wanted me to go. So I went up there, and it was VIP and all that. And the next morning, I overslept because I was supposed to be on stage with them when Farrakhan did they're speaking, but I overslept.
Right.
But it's a lot.
So the Martin,
go ahead.
Trayvon Martin's parents, are they still fighting for justice?
Oh yeah.
For they trying to get George, what's his name, Zimmerman.
It's so like their case made an example for the world. So what happened to their son? Everybody's going out now, and somebody get killed by the cop first day. Of course, okay, let me put this: George Zimmerman was not a cop; he was a wannabe cop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they still out there marching. They're marching for other people like Floyd and stuff like that.
Right.
They're trying to console other families that's going through what they've been through. That's what they're doing.
That's
I
what's
don't
up.
do as much. I'm letting my pearl speak for itself now. I don't do as much as I
Right.
used to. I come on platforms like yours and discuss
Right.
and get the information out. You know, yeah, that's right. You know, Trayvon Mother is running for office right now. I think I want to say Miami. I think it's in Miami somewhere. She's running for office right now.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
A lot of people don't know. Even Ben Crump, you know, the attorney and stuff like that. He don't even know that he know me.
Really? They
are
very busy right now. Ben Crump and Lee Merritt.
Yeah, they're very rich. But
They're
the
very
thing is,
busy right now.
you know, when I filed a case when I filed a case in Tallahassee, I went to them, right? And we had to meet them. They were just starting. And we had to meet them in the hotel and get other people to bring out their stuff, their information, you know, to file a lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? And nothing happened with it, but that's how I got to know him. Of course, he don't know me, you know, because he don't forgot about that.
Right.
But I want to leave it like this.
Right.
I want people to go to advocateforjustice.org. That's advocate with the number 4. Don't do FOR. Advocateforjustice.org and Garry'Goldwater'Jones.com. And you can read more about me. And
so I'm gonna put advocate for.
Yeah, cause see,
I got that advocateforjustice.org.
Yeah, I see it on the screen. And see, I'm gonna tell you like this: to be an advocate, I don't, you know, I don't have that name, so I don't get funded. I'm just gonna be straight out honest with you. A lot of times when I go to places, I have to use my own money, but that's just
right.
Through. That's what I do. I'm not gonna get into what other organizations do and things of that nature. I don't have time to get into that right now. But I fund my own stuff. Now I'm creating my brand to go out and make money and still fund my own stuff. Because you know, I'm gonna have an agenda and I'm gonna speak and say what I want to say. A lot of times people give you money, so you have to speak on their agenda. Right. I don't like that. I like to come out and just get the truth. Unadulterated truth. And that's why I became an advocate.
That's what's up. Yeah. Well, my brother, I really appreciate it. And I want to thank you for this interview. It was very informative. And I hope that someone out there listening got some information that they needed to hear. This is very informative. I am talking to Garry'Goldwater'Jones out of K-Town, North Carolina, by way of, you're in Atlanta now, right?
Yes.
For Atlanta. He and his wife are doing big things down there. Man, y'all stay in touch.
Oh, yeah.
Goldwater, do you have anything that you want to say real quick before we close out for real this time?
They also go to VMH Magazine. And they can get a lot of information and that too. That's my wife magazine. But she
wait, what's that again?
VMH Magazine.
VMH Magazine.com. VMHmagazine.com.
Yeah. And a lot of times I write articles and stuff, you know, to go in the magazine. So a lot of my work is in there too. But you know, my wife, you know, like you said, she's the boss. She do business.
The boss lady.
You know, she deal with the billionaires and stuff like this. I deal with the grassroots people. But I'm a grassroots person.
And y'all doing it together. That's what's up.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up.
I have to go out there and help her out. It's not easy. Carrying all that equipment for a female, it's not easy. And especially coming that red carpet. Red carpet is one of the hardest things we have to do. You know,
it's not as easy as it look, huh?
Now, sometimes fights break out on the red carpet. Everybody trying to get their shots. Everybody, they don't have no respect for women. They just trying to get their picture, knock women out of the way and get their shot. I don't have no respect for that.
I feel you.
I don't want to really get into that about I don't want to get into that because you know, I had to pull up on a couple people.
Well, listen.
Our court had to come out of young.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Brought the power courts out.
They don't want that. I'm telling you, they don't want
it. Well, listen. I want to thank you once again, Goldwater. Thank you once again for granting me this interview. I really appreciate it. I wish and I pray you the best of luck in all that you're doing. Know that me, the Sparrows over here, we got your back. You know, anything that we can do that's within our, range, we're here for you. We here, we got you. All right.
I want to thank you for the interview. Because see, I always like to do I don't have a problem doing interviews.
Right.
If somebody in my circle that's doing things from my hometown, I definitely want to get them an interview.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kinston, I want to.
Absolutely.
Because I can't lie because I know my story.
Right.
Very much, and I appreciate everything. And stay safe.
You too, brother. I love y'all. Y'all stay safe in Atlanta. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. All right, brother. Y'all take care.
Okay, take care. God bless.
All right.
All right, bro. Boss.
All right.
That was awesome.